Whoa! Welcome back to Kino's Jump Journeys. Very excited to be back with all y'all. I'm happy I'm able to be doing this for the second week in a row. Let's hope that this streak keeps on going. And without any further delay, let's hop right on into the list with our last place entry, Earthchild, at a lower 4 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie. I barely read this chapter through the second time because it's boring and ass, and I just skimmed it. It's been lame for a while, and I have nothing to say about it because it's so lame. Also, this is the last chapter, by the way, and I'm happy to see it go because it took what could have been a cool premise and kind of just ruined it because, I don't know, it just wasn't doing well and they had to rush to the conclusion, and I hate it. So, let's get that bad taste out of my mouth by moving on to Tokyo Demon Bride Story at a lower 5 out of 10. The series that is replacing Earthchild. As far as I can tell, this is seeming like it'll be a generic kind of fantasy rom-com, the kind that really appeals to otaku. It seems vapid and boring and hinges on being cute, so in that way I'm sure it'll be very popular. For now, I don't have anything more to say about it. The characters are pretty boring and have nothing to hook me, so let's hope that literally anything interesting happens next week. Next up, we have Roboco at a 5 out of 10. It's your average Roboco chapter, I guess. Nothing really offensively bad or unfunny, but also nothing really funny either. It was really kind of just a whatever chapter about snacks, something that we've also, done before. So, whatever, I don't care. Elusive Samurai at a 6 out of 10. Nothing terribly exciting here, though, again, just like Roboco, nothing really bad either. Mostly just a combat chapter showing the strength of the enemy. Also with a few gags here and there. It seems like that big bad guy is gonna attack some ladies, hoping to get lucky maybe? Who knows? I don't. Next up, we have Yozakura Family at a 6 out of 10. It was a serviceable chapter with Shion, whom I love, and we had fun seeing her do all kinds of tech stuff, trying to hack shit. I don't really get it, but she wants to get the Father Hunter 2.0 online, which is like super duper powerful and will help them find their dad and therefore save their siblings, which if it gets us to the plot again, without too many gag chapters in between, I'll be happy, because usually the gag chapters in Yozakura Family are kind of mid. I don't know. But besides that, this chapter didn't really do anything for me, so let's move on to Superphone at another 6 out of 10. Yeah, I know, this bottom of the list ain't doing too hot so far, but it's generally a lot of the series you would expect to be down here, aside from, Elusive Samurai and Yozakura Family being lower than I'd like. But anyway, Superphone. These two are named Boken and Rei. Rei doesn't seem to matter much right now. She kind of seems like some kind of pretty girl who's tagging along with Boken. But it's possible she'll have something to contribute later, though this being a shonen magazine, and also a series that's definitely going to get canceled, I can't see her getting much depth besides some maybe emotional, sad backstory and reason why she's hanging out with fucking Boken. Who knows? The whole point of this chapter is Q needs to get these guys on his team instead of joining the crazy Jeffrey Bezos team. So that'll be cool. It seems like he has to guess this man's name in order to get him to cooperate, because this is a kind of Rumpelstiltskin scenario, I suppose. And next chapter, even though he shouldn't know for any reason who this man is, I imagine he will know. Sorry for the yawning that I'm not going to edit out, but it seems like he probably does know, and there's going to be some cool reason, I guess. Whatever. My Hero Academia at a lower 7 out of 10. While enjoyable enough, though the chapter was very short, it doesn't give us much substance aside from showing that Shiggy seems to have a lot of personality in his body, possibly meaning that the influence of All for One is lessening, if not gone. Not entirely sure when this started to happen or what it means, but it could be interesting in giving us back Shigaraki instead of fucking All for One, who seems to be fucking off now because he is dying or dead or something. That's pretty cool. Also, all that stuff with Bakugo was lame and boring and not even really worth mentioning. I wonder if next week will be interesting. Next up, we have Mashle at a lower 7 out of 10. Continuing the battle with Pudding Man, Mr. Sister Lover summons the ability to use the God Wand, turning the tide momentarily. Though even that proves ineffective, and the Pudding Lord targets Dot as a weak target, when Lance jumps in the way, being taken out, leaving the battle to Dot, who seems like he'll wreck house next chapter. This was pretty much just an action chapter, and it was fun. Always fun in the way that Mashle is, being raw, based, swag, Kino, and any other words you want to use for it. Really cool stuff. I like it. And I wonder what's going to happen next chapter. Is Dot going to have some really cool power-up that makes him on tier with the rest of the gang? Maybe. Or maybe he'll only hold out until someone can come save him? It's anyone's guess. For any reason, these characters could get strong, and we'd kind of just have to be like, yeah, sure, cool, whatever. That's kind of just the series that it is, and I'm not complaining, so let's see what happens. Now, in Black Clover, we have a 7 out of 10. This chapter, everyone is planning how to deal with the oncoming invasion of evil Julius. They basically all agree that they have no chance of winning whatsoever, but Yuno steps up and declares that he'll be the one to defeat Julius, and in the process, passing Asta, as he puts it, and becoming Wizard King. Also, Asta is actually not dead. Big surprise there. And he's washed up somewhere, my guess being wherever it is that Yami's from, I forget. I'm sure the explanation will be very logical, and I'll be like, wow, I can't believe Black Clover is so good. I'm sure that's what I'll be like. Sakamoto Days is next at a 7 out of 10. This chapter, we're still chasing Amane, with amazing paneling and choreography as per usual. But we stop with the janitor, who is Amane's grandfather. What? And we learn a bit about him, which is nice. We learn that he raised Amane, even though he kind of had to be hands off, and it's all kind of touching and cute, and it's nice. I don't know. We cut to Amane and see him on a call with Deer Man from Slur. And apparently they want to recreate the events from the JAA massacre. So, not good, basically. And the film guy is going to make it a movie, whatever his deal is. Not much to say about that. Just a fun chapter of Sakamoto Days always brings joy in my heart. Following that, we have PPPPPPP at a 7 out of 10. This week, we explore Lucky's new outlook through a conversation with Sora-Chika. It's made apparent that Lucky has more confidence in himself, clearly having grown. But Sora-Chika seems to think that he can show Lucky something through his performance. And I'm interested to see if this new outlook of Lucky's will be expanded upon. And I'm also curious how it will be portrayed through Sora-Chika's music, because I don't know what that means. Everyone's talking about Sora-Chika like he's some sort of music master, the god, unbeatable, and all that stuff. My prediction for his battle, because people have to vote on who they like more, I think it's going to be like a fucking landslide. Like, I think Sora-Chika is going to take every single one of those votes, which will be fun and cool. They could play it, have him be more neck and neck, but right now the score for the teams is like in a landslide in our team's favor. So having Sword Chica kind of take it in a landslide is going to be necessary for them to catch up and make the final battle kind of more of a final battle type vibe. That's my guess, and I'm pretty confident about it. But whatever. Let's move on to Blue Box at a 7 out of 10. Blue Box did what Blue Box does best, and that's be cute as hell. We now have confirmation that Chinatsu basically has a crush on Taiki, though she's still hesitant to call it a crush for all of her own reasons, having a cute metaphor about a plant sprouting and her being too focused on basketball to think about boys. But if she thinks about him too much, she's pretty sure she'll definitely fall in love. And that's cool. Taiki and Hina have a quick convo about all the rumors going around, and how Hina is just gonna wait for Taiki to make a move, even though we all know that's not gonna happen, but she's dealing with the situation like she always does, and she's cool, and I love her, even though I don't want her to be with Taiki, because I want Chinatsu and Taiki to get together. They're the OTP. They're the people who I root for with all my heart and soul. Also, apparently, some sister of one of Chinatsu's friends is going to be the manager of the badminton team, which I'm sure is going to lead to all kinds of drama. They were talking about how she has lots of boyfriends and leaves lots of boyfriends and is flighty and shit, which is the exact opposite of Chinatsu. And if I had any guess, I imagine she's gonna try to pull some bullshit and try to steal Taiki, or maybe even Taiki's friend. I don't know. But point being is that she's definitely gonna shake some shit up, because there's really no other reason to introduce her character with the things she was introduced as, being a flighty bitch, basically. So that'll be fun to read. Can't wait to get to it. Next up, we have My Darling Child, High School Family, at an upper 7 out of 10. This week marks the 100th chapter of High School Family, and for that reason, 4 of our pages are color pages. You know, the opening page, the fucking cover pages, and the first page of the chapter are all in color, and I love the coloring style. It's all cute and kind of watercolory or pastelish. I don't know how to describe it, but I like it. In this chapter, we find out that Haruka is running for student council president, and both his friend and the student council want Kotaro to run against her, because they all think that Kotaro would make a good president. I personally want Kotaro to run and win, because it would be a really interesting addition to his character, and could flesh him out just a bit more, so he could stand alongside his family as being an interesting character, although I love him as he is. If I had to guess, I'd say that he ends up winning, with Haruka acting as his vice president or treasurer or secretary or something. And that'd be cool, because then we could have fun chapters where they're kind of working together to do stuff, because I like their dynamic, and whenever we have chapters where the family members are together, in whatever pairs they're together in, it's always fun, even though we don't really get much of that. Usually the chapters are focused on one family member doing their own thing. So that's all the more reason why that could be fun to do. Anyway, let's move on, because I have nothing else to say, to Akane Banashi at an 8 out of 10. Picking back up with the conversation between Akane and Isho, Isho explains that because Rakugo is a dying art, the only way to keep it alive is to make sure only the best of the best are presented to the world, those able to entrance and show the true power of Rakugo. Old art's dying is a constant struggle, especially in Japan, as westernization has been caused to Japan, leaving old arts behind in exchange for embracing the West. Tea, something I love, is a perfect example of this, so I understand the struggle. Akane, upon hearing this, is glad to hear that there was at least a purpose to why her father was exiled, though she still believes in his art, and seems to be renewed in her drive to become a great Rakugoka. A great chapter that is a battle of ideology, and the direction forward is anyone's guess, but I'm imagining it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see Akane do some crazy-ass Rokugo shit and become the best there ever was. Next up, we have Alien Area at an upper 8 out of 10. Another strong chapter following from last week. Our boys hear more about Akina. She seems to have fallen in love with an alien in the past, though now she only sees him once a year for some reason. I honestly forget why. But we also learn that she was a part of a group called A3, an apparently very dangerous anti-alien group Foreign Affairs knows very little about, and has been trying to learn about. They do some experimenting with dark cells, which has a high casualty rate. Back in the day, she and some guy who liked her named Yutaka helped the alien escape, and also both of them were in A3 at the time. Our guys leave after getting some intel from Akina, some business card that can lead them to talk to someone associated with A3. And on the way out, they see someone walk into the bar. And shortly thereafter, it's set aflame. And we see Yutaka in there just sitting saying, "Oh, happy birthday, Akina," because, also it's her birthday. And that's supposed to be touching. And she is seemingly dead, along with the 3 aliens that were with her. Although, now I hope this doesn't happen, but it's possible they're still alive, because we didn't see the bodies. But I really do hope they're not alive, because this kind of thing, killing these characters after endearing us to them, would be a really good show of what Alien Area can do and is about. And if they're not dead, it would really dampen my mood, if I'm being honest. So next week, we're gonna probably confront Yutaka, and it'll be cool. I imagine A3 are gonna be our villains. I think this chapter was the drop of who our main antagonists are gonna be. I don't know if Yutaka in particular is gonna be the main antagonist, or if he's just a lackey for the group in general. But that'll be cool, and I can't wait to see it through. Next up, we have Jujutsu Kaisen at a lower 9 out of 10. This week, we focus on Maki and Rokujushi, the sumo man, the sumo kappa man. He notices that Maki can't focus, and is therefore limiting her ability. Despite seeming like a silly gag type character, he is legitimately interested in helping her, and he shows her that she should focus more on herself and her own freedom. This being done through sumo, of course. The chapter also introduces the idea that, unlike many of her classmates, Maki has never really had a type of mentor, not because she has anything against the idea, she just never really thought of relying on other people to help her become stronger, because it's always kind of been like the world against her, with her not having any cursed energy. She's had to figure all this shit out by herself and become strong by herself. This man might be her mentor figure now. I think that's what they're implying, because he's helping her grow and understand herself. So hopefully he has more involvement in the story besides this right here. Although with the Culling games knack for introducing characters and then dismissing them, he probably isn't going to have much prevalence past here, but at the very least, I can be thankful for what he's done for Maki. By the end of the chapter, Maki is smiling, and she seems to have understood what Rokujushi was saying. This was a simple character development chapter, and I think it was very powerful in its simplicity, and it expands upon Maki's arc in an interesting way, because after her last power-up, she's bursting with power, and she's way stronger than she was before. I know some people might say that her getting a second power-up so soon after that one is too soon, but in my opinion, this power-up is only expanding upon the last one, because now that she's fully coming into her own and accepting herself and loving freedom, like our boy Roku Jushi is saying, I think that's just completing her power up rather than being a whole second one. But I think it's cool. Now, next chapter, I imagine she's gonna emerge from this being even stronger, and she's gonna fucking murder Naoya for real this time, which is good, because last time it was technically, their mom or grandma or whatever that seemingly killed him. But now that he's not dead, she has a chance to murder that motherfucker for herself, and it's gonna be really cool. So, that's all I have to say about that. Let's talk about Undead Unluck at a lower 9 out of 10, and in our top spot for the week. The first thing I need to mention is that the opening color page is very sweet, and it shows the stages of our leads, Andy and Fuko, as the story goes on, their beginning, middle, and present phase, which I think is really cute and a nice touch, and a great color page. As for the chapter as a whole, though no physical progress is made, just a transfer of points, we get a lot of emotional beats that are really moving to me. Fuko becomes the new leader, and Huiz, I don't know, I've never known how to say her name, but whatever. She's ready to sacrifice her life because in all of the past loops, she's always been the one who has to have her friends fight for her. And now she's really happy that she gets to be the one making the sacrifice play and not having to live with the guilt of kind of being responsible for her friends' deaths and all that. She's happy to be helping push the plan forward and just kind of being a pawn in that game instead of pretending like she's the king like she has in the past. Also, she has a nice cute moment with Apocalypse, which is nice because he's all like, I hate all of you, and haha, you're gonna die. And she's like, oh, you're cool. And she's like, fuck you, I'm not cool. And she's like, nah, you're cool. But anyways, much like the past few chapters, we have a very end of series vibe going on. And I'm gonna be very sad to see it go. How long we have until then? I don't know. We're gonna do this whole loop. And I don't know. I mean, if the series were to be prolonged, which I don't think it is, we could very easily have like a whole other arc where they just go along gathering teammates. And it could take as long as it wants because it can span a very serious length of time. Though how I assume it's going to go is they're just going to have a montage where they kind of go about and then go fight God and kill that motherfucker. So whatever happens, I'll be happy to see it because I have faith that Undead Unluck is going to be cool as always. Because recently, at least like the past dozens of chapters, with a small stint of mid, kind of, it's just been great. Fucking popping off. I know it started bad, but it's fucking amazing now, and I love it. Anyway, that's it for this week. Lots of good stuff to talk about, even though, to be honest, there was quite a bit of mid going on this week in the beginning portions here. And also, like, I don't know, lots of like 7s and 6s and whatnot. But still, I enjoyed it. And, of course, all the top spots, the top 5 in particular, made up for it in spades. So let's look forward to next week. And I'll talk to you then, I suppose. Have a nice night.